Hi, this is Harold's ABCs by Crockett Johnson. You have some other books about Harold. And look, he drew that D. It kind of looks like the moon a little bit. Harold decided one evening to take a trip through the alphabet from A to Z. To go on any kind of trip, he had to leave home. He started with an A for attic. See that in the top of the house? And he left his yard taking his purple crayon, and the moon came along. Here's the moon. To get very far, he was going to need a lot of words. B is for books. He could find plenty of words in a pile of big books. He was ready for anything. Okay, look how he turned that B into part of the book. That's very clever, huh? Harold was always ready for something to eat, and C is for cake. See the C? He took a large cut of cake and ate it as he continued on his way. Look, the moon's going with him, just like in that other story. The cake made him thirsty, and he needed a drink. Luckily, D is for drink. Here's D. He drank right out of the dipper. He was eager to get on with his excursion. Excursion means his trip. And look, see the D, and that's the dipper. See the handle for the dipper? Like that constellation, the Big Dipper. He visited an enormous edifice. Whoa, look at that word. That means building. The tallest building in the world. It went up, 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 floor after floor, etc., etc. E is for etc. That means on and on and on. And see the E? It's kind of like these bricks over here. Elevators take people up and down in big buildings, so Harold just didn't like them. They made his stomach feel funny. He went up over 100 stories on his own. So look, he's just climbing up. He didn't want to take the elevator. At the very top, Harold was surprised to see something higher than he was. It was only the next letter of the alphabet flying from the roof. F is for flag. See the F? And then he turns it into a flag. Now he can get down. G is for giant. One happened to be passing by. Giants generally aren't so gentle, but this one grinned when Harold landed on him. Okay, here's the giant. See the G? Look, he's turning these letters into things. Harold explained he was in a hurry, and the giant gently set him on the ground. See the G for giant? He hastened along. That means he hurried. H is for horse. See the horse? This thing's called a rocking horse. One way to go fast is on horseback. Unfortunately, the horse didn't turn out to look much like a real horse. It made a rather good hobby horse, but a hobby horse doesn't go anywhere. We call them rocking horses too. Sometimes it's called a hobby horse. Harold had to think of some other way to speed up his trip. I is for idea. See that bubble? That means he's thinking. He went to work on the next letter with his purple crayon. J is for jet. See the J? In a jiffy, that means in a hurry, he had a speedy little jet plane ready for takeoff. That was a good idea, wasn't it? Harold hopped into it and rocketed away. It overtook the next letter in no time. Look, that letter is K. Harold jumped out and grabbed on thinking hard of a word for it. K is for kite. Flying on a string, Harold began to climb down the string. Okay, here's the K turned into a kite, and there he's going down the string. Suddenly, a quicker way of getting down struck Harold. That means struck, it means he thought of it. L is for lightning. Harold held on tight to the purple crane, going like a streak. See the L? Here's another L. He keeps making these L's, which are lightning. He landed on a pair of tall peaks. These are peaks like a mountain, high and lonely. M, here's the M, is for mountain. He looked for somebody to ask where these mountains were. No one was around. N is for nobody. See the N? Here's the M, and there's the N. And N is for nobody. Off in the sky, he saw an orbiting object. Orbiting means it's going round and around. It looked like a strange planet. O is for ours, our Earth. The mountains were on the rim of the moon. Okay, here are the mountains, and there's our Earth. He's up on the moon. He looked over the edge at the side of the moon he had never ever seen. Down below him was the next letter of the alphabet. Taking aim, he jumped. Aim means he wants to be sure and land on the right place. P is for parachute. See the P? He said as he plunged to a plane on the far side of the moon. And suddenly he wondered how he could get back over the ridge of mountains. He would have to ask the man in the moon, or the king, or whoever was in charge. Q is for queen. And here's the Q. Here's the Q. See the black line? That's a Q. She was Urania, queen of the sky. She told Harold, who bowed. Only King Uranus could help Harold get home, she said. But the king was away. Uh-oh. That seems to be a problem. Far away, the queen said, across land and sea. Harold decided to ride there. R, see the R, is for rhinoceros, roaming both land and water. But it was a slow, rough ride. And when Harold reached the sea and the next letter, he had a better idea. S, here's the S, is for sea serpent. Serpent is a snake. Harold sailed across the moon ocean at a smooth, swift speed. Okay, so this sea serpent is taking him across the ocean. He landed far away, looking for the king of the sky who was supposed to be there. T is for telescope. Okay, see the T? And he turned it into a telescope. He set it up on a tripod. This part's called a tripod. Tri means three legs. All he saw through it was another letter. The queen had mentioned the king's name. Harold remembered it. U is for Uranus. See the U? See the crown for the king? He drew the king's attention and asked how to get back across the moon's mountains. King Uranus, in his ermine robe, ermine is fur, ermine is a kind of animal, stood silent and majestic, considering the question. Considering means he's thinking about it. Then, with a kingly gesture, he waved Harold forward and onward. Okay, so he's pointing this way. Harold trudged along toward another letter, away off in the distance. Here's the distance, see? It was V for valley. He could go through it to the side of the mountain near the earth. 4 more letters and he would be through the whole alphabet. But the biggest letter of all barred his way. That means stopped, wouldn't let him go. He tried to think of a word for it. Quickly, W for witch. Okay, see the W? See the black lines? That's the W. W is for witch, wicked and waiting, and it looked as if he would never get through. Harold nearly gave up, but then he saw the next letter right nearby. Okay, let's see what the next letter is. X is for Xing out. See all the X's? Xing out. Harold had to X things out before, lots of times. It worked this time too. Witches are very susceptible to such treatment. Susceptible means they take the X's, and so he's Xing out the witch. To X them out means no good, gone. He made so many marks it was hard to get through them, but Harold managed. See the black X right there? And he's crawling through all the X's. Magically, he found himself in a familiar garden with the moon high in the sky. Y is for yard. See the Y, the black letters? And there was one letter left. In his bedroom, as he dozed off, he made a word, Z. Z is for zill, or a little snore. I love you. Bye-bye.